The prisoner never wipes after using the toilet. He would crumple the paper into a ball, dip it in water from the toilet, then cover it with glue and let it dry on the side. Once it dried, he would wrap it all up tightly and secretly hide it in the toilet paper roll. Next, when he had his meal, he would tear open the milk carton, remove the thin wax coating inside using a fork. When the guard unlocked his shackles, he would secretly stick the coating onto the keypad. The fingerprint of the code entered by the guard would be left on it. When he removed the layer, he could decipher the numbers contained in the code. While the guard unlocked his handcuffs, he stuffed a prepared wad of toilet paper into the lock mechanism. Once the guard left, he could open the window and try to get the correct code. On his first day in prison, he began to observe the habits of the guards on duty. Every time they went out to relax, he would silently count the time in his head. After several tests and calculations, he discovered that there was a 7-minute window every day when the guard room was unattended. Once everything was ready, he wrote a hidden message letter to the contact on the outside. The contact, following the letter's instructions, arrived at the prison parking lot at the designated time. Just during the guard's break, the car happened to explode at that exact moment. Taking advantage of the chaos, the man opened the cell door, went to the monitoring room, adjusted the cameras in the cell, then crawled through the ventilation ducts and arrived at the prison's fire station. He changed into fire gear, and when the guard returned to the monitoring room, he found everyone in their cells, but the man was already hanging beneath a fire truck heading for the gate. Once at the accident scene, he quickly crawled out from under the truck and climbed into the waiting car, escaping successfully. But he didn't leave. Instead, he waited by the roadside for the police to find him again. Because he wasn't actually a prisoner, he was an escape master. Mark worked for the authorities, testing the security of high-level prisons. Over the past 7 years, Mark had been caught and escaped repeatedly. He had successfully broken out of 15 prisons. Soon, the CIA contacted him again, this time with an even more challenging mission. Mark even had a GPS tracker implanted in his arm. But to his surprise, he was grabbed and thrown into a car the moment he stepped out. The captors seemed to know everything. They immediately used a knife to remove the tracker from his arm. Mark was injected with anesthesia and passed out. He had no idea that this mission was far from simple. Someone wanted him to never escape again. When Mark woke up, he found himself in a transparent cell with no privacy whatsoever. Forget about digging tunnels to escape. The cell was suspended in the air, completely sealed, and he couldn't even see the sun. The guards here were fully armed, and the surveillance was everywhere, with no cracks to exploit. Mark, desperate to escape, turned his attention to the solitary confinement room. But little did he know, the solitary room was even worse. The lights were always on, and once locked inside, his eyes could barely stay open. Yet even under such harsh conditions, Mark endured the pain and studied the structure of the room. Finally, when his body was about to give out, he discovered the flaw he was looking for: the rivets on the floor. Although Mark knew how to make the rivets pop out, the tools he needed were a problem. To his surprise, the next day, one of his cellmates managed to get the tools for him.